So what I am about to do is representative of the challenge currently facing the 49ers. I'm going to walk and talk while I climb up the Grand Pacheco steps behind me here in Forest Hill on the west side of the city. So let's go. We'll be a little bit out of breath by the time that this is over, but it's okay because the 49ers have a daunting task in front of them as well. They have just lost the Super Bowl. That comes on the heels of losing a couple NFC championship games. Comes on the heels of losing Super Bowl 54. A lot of heartbreak over the course of the past 5 years for San Francisco. But Steve Young just chimed in on it. He hadn't posted on social media, on Twitter or X, whatever they call it now, until today. And I think that Steve Young's perspective is really valuable because he was somebody that had to overcome something very similar to what the 49ers are dealing with now. Steve Young lost the NFC Championship game as the quarterback of the 49ers in 1992 and 1993. 2 straight years. Imagine if social media were around then. Steve didn't play well, especially in that 92 game when the 49ers lost to the Cowboys at Candlestick Park. This was on the heels of 1990 when San Francisco lost the NFC title game to the New York Giants. That was the Roger Craig fumble game. Joe Montana got hurt in that one. Young came in, would have done enough to manage the way to a victory had it not been for that fumble. 91 was a disaster that I have compared to 2020. It was just a weird year. 49ers didn't make the playoffs. You had a lot of fluky stuff happen in that 1991 season that made me really compare it to 2020. So you had 1990, which was the end of the three-peat bid, which is a lot to me like 2019 was for the 49ers. You had 1991, which was a lot like 2020, no playoffs. And then you had 92 and 93, losses to the eventual Super Bowl champion in the final game of the season. 49ers had to bounce back from all of that adversity, circle the wagons. They didn't have time for a hangover year in 1994. If they lost to Dallas in 94, they died. That's how it worked. They had to climb the mountaintop. Steve Young has likened it to climbing Everest. Well, these hills in San Francisco are damn steep. And I remember in week 1, I was in Pittsburgh. They claim to have the steepest block in America. I debunked that. It turned out to not be true because San Francisco has steeper blocks. Well, I found one of them. We made it to the top of the Grand Pacheco steps. The 49ers have to begin the climb anew. They have to make it to the very top. And sometimes when you get to the very top, you run into a dead end. These staircases they still do, but they used to crisscross all of San Francisco. They were the way to get around this very hilly city. Some of them have been abandoned. So you can take the Grand Pacheco staircase all the way up to here, where it has now been overgrown by shrubbery near Forest Hill, which is actually the oldest subway station in San Francisco. But the lesson is constant. The lesson is one the 49ers have overcome before in their franchise history. Sometimes it's taken years. After they lost 3 straight to the Cowboys in the early 70s in the playoffs, they beat the Cowboys in January of 82. After they lost 2 straight to the Cowboys in the 90s, they won in 94. They need to take the 94 model. And one way to take the 94 model is to just keep on pushing forward and upgrade your team. I think the way the 49ers can upgrade their team is via pass protection. Improve the pass protection, and you will be the odds-on Super Bowl favorite by a long shot. No hangover necessary in 2024.